Hello. It has been quite a while. I have a lot that's going on and wanted to share it, but there's no way that I could fit it all into captions on Instagram. So I decided to make a video so I can kind of explain where I'm at. I'm not ready to go into detail about everything yet. I will eventually, but it is definitely still too new, and just not ready to put extreme detail out there yet about everything that's going on. So there's a lot of bugs and they're trying to go everywhere. um, so I'm going through the hardest thing that I've ever faced in my whole life. This is so much harder than anorexia was and all of the pain associated with it. And I lost the will to live. I came so close to really losing my mind. I did not want to pick myself up and fight. I just didn't want to go on anymore. I was completely at a point. Not out of self-hate, but as a mercy to myself. I just wanted to leave this earth. And last Wednesday, I attempted suicide. I ended up in the hospital, and then I was sent to a mental hospital, and that was the worst thing I think I've ever endured. I was in there for 4 days, and it was the opposite of helpful. It made everything that I was feeling so much worse. Most of the time I was in a room all by myself, and I can't say enough bad things about it. It, on top of everything else, it infuriated me that is the way suicidal people are treated. But that's kind of exactly why I needed it and what I needed. Because it made me realize there is no one that is going to help me. There is no one that can help me except me. And I have to do this. I had The Completion Process by Teal Swan with me. I'd already been reading that, actually. And absolutely love her. Her videos have helped me so many times. But I felt like my little girl self was beside me the entire time that I was in there, in a really surreal way. I knew that it was time to face, discover, and heal the emotions that I have struggled with my entire life. The core feeling of being abandoned, unwanted, not good enough, and someone being chosen over me. The situation I'm going through right now perfectly reflects that. And situations my entire life have mirrored those feelings and brought them up over and over again, but I never knew where that came from or how to fix it. In the 5 years that I've been exploring within myself and healing from anorexia, that was just something that would come up here and there. And it was just so deep. You know, there's so many layers to how we heal and the things that we can heal in certain times. At least that's what I believe. And this was just untouchable. It was something that I could not figure out, and I was tired of it, though. Very tired of feeling that way. So yeah, the situation brought those feelings out again, And in that hospital with myself, I knew I could feel that the healing of that, integrating that part of myself was approaching. So feeling all of this excruciating pain and anguish, all of the things that I have been going through, I just stayed with myself. I let myself feel that way and dive into the emotion without trying to run from it or change it or distract myself. And I was just internally screaming over and over again things like, I'm here with you. I'm feeling this with you. I feel it. It's okay. Trying to understand and make room for that feeling, and allowing, if my mind wanted to let me know where it originally came from, just making space for that to come to the surface. And it did. And now that I know what it is so simple, it seems, compared to the way it felt my whole life. When I was a baby and my sister was born, I did not understand what was happening, and I felt like I was being replaced and like I wasn't wanted anymore. My mom had a very difficult pregnancy with my sister, and she wasn't able to care for me the way she would have wanted. And then, of course, after my sister was born, then she, all this time was going into this new baby. And I've always had a memory. I remember the day my sister was born. I remember staying with my grandparents and screaming, crying, not wanting to be there, away from my parents, and then going to the hospital and walking in and seeing my mom, and then going over toward the nursery. And that's the only memory that I had. I don't have anything before. I don't remember when my mom was pregnant with her, and I don't remember after, when she was a newborn, but I remember that day. And that situation, that had never occurred to me that could have brought on those emotions, because my sister and I are best friends. And when you think about a new baby coming into a home, you think about a kid being excited usually, that they're going to have a sibling to play with and all of this stuff. And so yeah, that had never entered my mind, that could have been the root of it. And it seems, so simple, like something I should have been able to figure out or come to on my own, but our minds don't really work like that. A lot of the times they seem to cover things and try to fight to hide and protect you from certain emotions. But it was time, and when the timing is right, then things do reveal themselves. And it's amazing how my whole life it felt like this huge mountain or a monster that overshadowed everything and kept making me relive it in certain ways. And now it's gone, and I feel so much lighter and more free. But it making itself aware and then disappearing was just like a breeze carrying ashes away into the wind. It was just so simple. That's really kind of amazing. And I had another experience right after that, absolutely amazing and so real. I've worked with trauma release exercises before, and if you're not familiar with that, you do these certain steps and methods, exercises you go through that lead your body to go into involuntary shaking, and that's a mechanism that our bodies have lost to do on their own, but it's wild animals do this, and it helps you rid yourself of stress and trauma that gets trapped inside of you. And it's just absolutely amazing. Every time that I've done it, I feel incredible, so much lighter and more free afterwards. But every other time I've done it has been intentional, and I had to do the things to bring that on. This time, I just started shaking on my own. My whole upper body, my hands and arms were shaking so fast and so violently that I couldn't even see them. And I just stepped back, let it happen, didn't try to force it anymore or try to reel it in, just let it happen. I was thinking, this is amazing. And I could feel energy in both of my hands as I was pulling and releasing and just shaking. And I knew that I was absorbing and manifesting and taking in this strength. And I just started saying affirmations, and I knew that those things were true, were coming true, and will be in my future. It was just incredible. I really couldn't believe how strong it made me feel in that moment after I had felt so entirely hopeless. It was exactly what I needed. And I don't think I would have went through that if I hadn't been in that horrible place. So I started writing things down, just like I did when I had anorexia. Writing down what I wanted to believe and saying it out loud until I felt a place where I accepted it and actually trusted it and believed it. And I wrote down some short-term goals of things that I could do. And, I'm still struggling, still suffering, but I knew that I was going to be okay. I was very, very lucky to, well, maybe not lucky. I don't think it was a coincidence, but a different counselor came in that day that hadn't been there at all, and he was completely different from everyone else that had been there. And he said, "You don't belong in this place. I think you need to go home." And he sent me home 3 days earlier than I was supposed to be there. And I was so grateful coming out of that place. My dad came and picked me up, and just on the way home, looking at the mountains, I was crying. Everything looked so beautiful. It really, it sounds cliche, but it really felt like getting my life back. And thinking, I could have been dead, but I was there to witness that, to see another beautiful day. And I want to make the most of it. I want to help other people. I eventually want to show you in detail the things that I'm doing, walk you through the steps, and share the hard days, share the good days. And this is, the same thing that I did with my anorexia recovery. And I've wanted to share how to do that before, and now I can show you kind of in the moment how it's done when you're actually in the dark situation, not just when you're on the other side, as I had been. But since coming out, and you can see I have a new style. I cut my hair and I've been wearing different clothes and different makeup, and it feels so in alignment with who I am right now, like embracing the shadow side. I'd been in the light for so long, and things felt so good and so beautiful. But there were definitely parts of myself that I was ignoring without being aware of it at all. And this look, it feels like coming home. It just makes sense for me for where I'm at right now in my journey. Yeah. Things aren't always easy, but if you fight for it, it is always worth it. And that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to prove. So, I guess that's all for now. Hopefully, I will stick with this, be back soon making more videos. I'm thankful to be able to share and be open with you guys about where I'm at, what's going on, and just for all of your love and support. We can do it together. Hope you have a great day. See ya.